What is maybe, who am I, why are you here? There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the industry. Well, hi, hello, welcome to the very first episode ever of Maybe Pod. This is your countercultural open PR playbook, and I'm so glad that you've joined us. My name is Clift. I am CEO and founder of international public relations agency Maybe, and now apparently host of Maybe Pod. Welcome. This is our very first episode, what I like to call an explainer. So we're going to get into what is Maybe Pod, who am I, why are you here tuning in, and why you should tune in every week for everything PR. So hello, I'm Katie. I'm an Australian. I now live in Portugal, but my story of getting here is a long one. I've worked in PR and communications for about 20 years, if you can believe it. And I started my career living in Australia really on drive time radio. I was a drive radio show host in Brisbane, Queensland. I actually hosted a 5-hour show daily, and it was mostly talking. It wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be like a music magazine style show with just a little bit of talking in between. But as you'll come to know on Maybe Pod, I love to talk. So I deleted a lot of the songs and got in trouble by the music manager at the time. So Jess, if you're listening, I am really sorry to delete your music logs, but I love to talk. That's really what gave me my start and career in PR and comms in radio. I pivoted very quickly after about 4 or 5 years to become a spokesperson for one of the biggest nonprofits in Brisbane, Queensland, but in Australia more broadly. And that was a fantastic role. I managed a communications and media team, so I was head of comms and public relations, but also the spokesperson. So did a lot of radio work, a lot of TV work. Flash forward a few more years, and I left Australia with my husband. We moved to Greece for a job opportunity for him. So I've lived in Greece. We lived there for about 18 months before I went to Switzerland and took up a role with the World Economic Forum, managing their corporate affairs, which was just a fantastic experience. I've been to Davos. I've done anything and everything to do with the World Economic Forum. I was there for about 5 years. And then I had a big moment in my life. It's not really the place here to talk about it too much on this podcast, but I was diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer. And I only mention it to say that it was a big catalyst for my life. This is while I was working at the forum, of what I wanted to do, what my long-term goals were, what really mattered to me in life and gave me purpose. And that's why I decided to start Maybe Agency. And I moved to Portugal. So now here we are. We're about 2 years in to Maybe Agency. As I said, it's an international public relations agency. So we work with mainly nonprofits, international organizations, and purpose-driven companies doing amazing things around the world. So that's why I'm living in Portugal. That's how we got here. That's a bit about me. So more about Maybe Agency. So we are what I like to call a countercultural public relations agency. I don't know your experience with PR in the past, but there's a tendency for agencies to take very large retainers with a very low return on investment, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the industry saying that PR can't be committed to, you can't get great results, that it can't be done. So that's where we came up with the word maybe. It's kind of a play on words to sort of say, hey, hang on a second, great PR is possible, effective PR is possible, and in fact, we've proven it. And through all my roles in the last 20 years and the team that we have now, we consistently prove it for our broad client base. But also maybe is a contraction. It's actually 2 words, what may be. So we're changing this outdated PR industry narrative of maybe we can do it, maybe we can get you some clips, maybe PR will solve the problem, to no, let's be committal, bold, results driven, pushing forward, what may be. And it works. I mean, we have a very broad client base, as I said, mostly nonprofits and international organizations, because I wanted to really focus on purpose-driven organizations and use my experience, what I went through on the health front, to really be able to give a voice to these organizations that do have the most important stories to tell in the world. So we're a small team. We've got clients mostly in Switzerland, the UK and Australia, and a whole range of different clients. So we've worked with the World Economic Forum, ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, Gates Foundation startup AxeMed, St. John Ambulance, Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia. You can go and look at our website and see the whole portfolio of who we support and who works with us at maybe.agency. But just to say that, yes, we were founded on this notion of being countercultural, wanting to bring a difference to the industry, specifically to purpose-driven organizations, and to say great PR is effective, great PR is possible, and you can really harness it to tell your story on a global scale. So I should have mentioned I'm an MBA scholar at Warwick Business School. That's also what really prompted me to start my own company. And we have a combined 15 years international experience working with the World Economic Forum, as I mentioned, at Davos and at major events big global events throughout the year. So we're able to support big international organizations with their public relations and comms, right through down to small nonprofits. And you listening today, I mean, you might be heading up a comms team, a small business owner, wanting to understand more about what PR is. That's what this podcast is for, and also what Maybe Agency is for, to support organizations like yours. Some of our wins so far. So we published the very first thesis ever defining key success factors for effective PR for nonprofits internationally. That was a huge undertaking. In fact, I'm about to make it into a book, which is really exciting. And it's meant to be a playbook, an open playbook for nonprofits and international organizations to really learn that there is a 5-step framework, key success factors. We'll go through them in subsequent podcast episodes too, to great and effective and useful PR. There is a framework to follow. It is easier than you think. For one client, for example, we doubled their media clips in Australia to more than 8,000 in 12 months. So yeah, really it's taking the lessons learned on the global stage and tailoring them for the clients that work with us. But enough about Maybe. You can check out more details, as I said, at maybe.agency. But what about Maybe Pod? Why are you tuning in? And why should you tune in every single week? Well, as I said at the top, this is your open countercultural PR playbook. So we're going to bring you one episode at a time, everything you need to know about great, effective, and useful PR. What PR is, what are some of the things that the media are looking for, how you can use it if you're a local nonprofit or small organization or business, or if you're a bigger international organization. We're going to have tips, tricks, hints, and really opening up our international playbook one episode at a time to teach you about how to do PR effectively. And I'm a big fan of research, so we're going to be diving into the industry, research, strategy. We'll look into case studies that we have at Maybe Agency and broader, just to really help you understand the industry and the ins and outs of PR and how to use it really well in your everyday. Really, I want to make this as accessible as possible. So think of it like a PR blueprint where you tune in for a few minutes every week, you get a download of public relations that's really simple, easy to understand, but upscaled, and it's going to upskill you, and it's easy takeaways for you to take away and put into practice for your organization. Kind of like a PR insider behind the scenes. If you couldn't already tell, I'm a bit obsessed with public relations, and I just really have a drive and a passion to help purpose-driven organizations do great PR. So stay tuned for subsequent episodes. We'll be dropping them every single week. And just thank you for being part of the Maybe Pod family. Episode 1, we're almost done. Can't believe we got here. I'm so excited to be on this new chapter, a new experience, and helping you and really upskilling you. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any question about PR, anything that we can cover on the podcast any week, you can write to us. The email is callme@maybe.agency. We'd also love for you to hit subscribe, whatever you need to do to stay in tuned. The notification bell, I'm not sure if that's still a thing on YouTube, but make sure you do tune in every week. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.